Welcome to episode 42 of the OTT podcast. You know what I wish, Connor?
What do you wish?
I really do wish. I wish straight white men would get it into their heads it's wrong to discriminate against people because of their sexuality, skin colour or gender. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, if everyone did that, the world would be a lot better, wouldn't it?
I think so. I mean, if straight white men just shut up.
Just shut up and take it.
The world would be just... I must admit, I mean, I'm sure privilege is a thing. I get fucking tired of hearing about it. I really do. I'm not saying there's not a problem. I'm sure there is, but I'm tired of hearing about it.
Tired of hearing about what problem?
All the fucking privilege bollocks.
Oh, okay.
You know, on the one hand, we've even got women and black people, non-white people, saying they don't think there's a problem. And then there are people, women and people of colour, as they call them, who say there is a problem. And then there's people like me. I mean, I'm not allowed an opinion, being a kind of straight white male. But you know, it's just tiresome. I mean, this whole thing. I mean, like I said to you before as well. Now, when it comes down to it, and I've asked people this question, and they've got all fucking shitty with me. Because I think they mistake my indifference for antagonism. And I've said, well, okay, does your neurotypical privilege trump my white male privilege all the way around? You just tell me. And they get really angry about that. Well, that just shows their fucking duplicity in this, really. If they really meant what they said, they would stop and think, oh shit, yeah. You know, he has a point.
So just like a load of bollocks. Mind your own fucking business. Don't get so down on your problems. Fucking go for a walk, chipper up, focus on your own shit.
I saw on Facebook, I mean, I'm a member of the stoic groups on Facebook. I kid you not. I saw some woman ranting about a women-only stoic group. And it's women only because I haven't seen this, but I'm not doubting it happens. Some men disregard stoic women's opinions and call them overly emotional, etc., etc., etc. But in this long spiel, she said, yes, there's some man bashing goes on in this women only group, but one excuses it. And I'm thinking, is this for real? Are you seriously telling me you have got a fucking women only group where you bash men openly, you say, and you've got this group because mixed groups bash women, and somehow it's okay when you do it, but not when it happens the other way around. Now, either both are bad or neither is bad. And in any case, who cares? Seriously. I can't get my head around the hypocrisy.
I, for one, certainly do not give a fuck.
Yeah, well, that's because you're a white male.
Yeah.
And the privilege has all been on your side, you know. But like I said,
well, okay. Once, John, I tried to fucking paint my face black, and apparently that wasn't on. I just wanted to see what it was like for a day. I can't fucking win. I've grown my hair long, and I tuck my penis behind my legs. I call myself a woman, and you know, some people say, "Oh, it's good." You know, I accept transgender people. Some people tell me I can't be a woman, so I'm just trying to see their point of view. I can't fucking win.
What,
so I could not give a fuck.
I would pay good money to see you with a black face, with your willy tucked between your legs, pretending to be a woman. I would pay good money to see that, because that would be fucking hilarious. We're going to get you drunk at the next delete and get you doing that. You know that, don't you?
You know I won't be doing that, no matter how drunk I am.
I don't know.
You would have to drug me. And well, I feel like I need to put a disclaimer. I have never ever painted my face black and walked around trying to be a black person, nor have I ever fucking walked around pretending to be a woman. And no, I don't have a problem with transgender people.
You just said you did.
I couldn't give a fuck. I am so tired. I could not give a fuck about anything. All I want to do is have a shit, have a shower, do the podcast, talk to our gang later, have my coffee, have my mango chicken wraps, have another wank if I haven't had one already. 2 a day, keeps the doctor away. Watch some shit Netflix TV show, go back to bed, wake up tomorrow, have a wank, and yeah, you get the picture.
That sounds like an awfully fucking full to-do list, mate. And none of it is actually, I don't recall that, other than the podcast bit, none of it is actually focused on driving our business forward. Oh, the guy, speaking to the guy this afternoon, I suppose.
Oh, there we go. Well, do you want to see my to-do list that I write myself most days?
No.
Well, you're going to see it anyway.
I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, because I didn't really care
Why
what
do
you said.
people do that?
It's funny.
Well, I can't even read that. Wank. Yeah, sounds about right.
And I forgot to tick one off earlier, so one down, one to go.
My daughter used to do this.
Wank.
Well, probably, yeah. But she'd come home from town shopping and say, "Do you want to see what I bought?" And I'd say no. And then she just proceeded to show me anyway. I think, what the fuck do you bother asking me if you're not going to listen to me? And she used to deliver it to one milk because she knows that kind of thing I find unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you want to see what I bought? No, I'd rather go and fucking poke a Bradall in my eyes, to be honest. I'd rather put my bell end on rather put my fucking bell end on an anvil and smack it with a hammer than seeing your shopping bag of all the shit you bought.
Talking of bell ends, do you know what really pisses me off? How I
couldn't fathom one.
Every woolly hat ever, when you put it on your head, it looks like a bell end. It just puffs up and it's got the lines in for the stitching. And it looks like you've got a bell end on your head. And it's like, why do they do this? Why do you need two seams? Just have one.
I've got to say, mate, if your bell end looks like a woolly hat, you've got a problem. You should go to the doctor.
Well, I was told to just wash it.
I mean, I'm a fair bit older than you, so it's fair to say I've probably seen more woolly hats than you have. I'm probably more bell ends, to be honest.
I'd say so.
And I must admit, I've never looked at a bell end and thought, that looks like a woolly hat. I just haven't. So you'd probably want to go to the doctors, mate.
The reason I said this is that I got a new woolly hat and I put it on. I wish. Jesus Christ, you see the state of mind. I put it on and I was like, I like this hat. However, unless it's like I pull it down so much where the top of it is completely flush with my head, if it sticks up even a little bit, it looks like a bell end. It tucks in and everything. It's got the little line. I was just like, it's a bell end.
Have you ever thought you could just have a weird shaped head? Like a bell end?
A very weird shaped head.
Well, yeah, there you go then. Because I've worn a few woolly hats. I've worn a few woolly hats in my time, and I've never been told I look like a bell end. I've been told I am a bell end. I get told that quite a lot, but I've never been told I look like a bell end. So maybe you want to examine your choice of hats or head.
I will take a picture for you later, and I'll send it to you.
You do that,
and
you do that.
I'm sure you'll agree. It looks like a bell end.
Well, I mean, if you send me a picture of yourself, I'll almost certainly agree you look like a bell end. Yes.
I'll crop it. You'll just see my forehead up, and you'll go, "Yeah, it looks like a bell end."
Saying that to make things any better, you know.
I'm trying to make things better. I'm trying to make things worse.
You're doing a good job there. So anyway, since you're so tired and such a girl about it, let's crack on from what we were saying yesterday. The fourth element, which we didn't really get into yesterday, about of personality marketing, is marketing. It's the kind of the optional one, and one I admit not everybody's going to want to do, including myself to an extent, and I'll qualify that in a minute. But that's to become a celebrity. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about celebrities in the traditional sense of being a film star and being famous for just being famous. I find that fucking nauseating. There are people like that, I know, and good luck to those. I'm indifferent to them, but I wouldn't want that for myself. That's really going down the ego route. And I want to make this clear to everyone. You know, this is really important. A great book to read, by the way, is The Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, as in Ryan, where do you go for your summer break? You know, holiday. And becoming a celebrity for the sake of becoming a celebrity is a really bad idea because it's ego driven. And what you will find yourself doing if you're not careful is pandering to the likes and the opinions and feelings of the multitude, you will essentially become like an Instagram or LinkedIn influencer, where you'll get, almost necessarily because of the dopamine rush, you'll get drawn in to the vanity metrics of likes, shares, comments, and views. And you start to find yourself, if you're not careful, getting upset when people disagree with you. We've seen this in a couple of people we've worked with. I'm not going to name them for fairly obvious reasons, but a couple of people who've worked with us in the past started to go down that route, and they parted company with us, and they've continued down that route. And right now they're in this really shit place. But hey, they're popular on LinkedIn and getting loads of likes, shares, comments, and views. Well, if that's what you like, great. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, next time you go to Tesco with a bag of shopping to pay for, you go to the checkout, or indeed you come to service your debts on either personal or corporate, and when you say, well, I haven't got any money to pay you, but I've got a load of likes, shares, comments, and views, have a look at my Instagram account and my LinkedIn account, I guarantee they won't be impressed, not in the way you want them to be. So I'm not talking about that kind of celebrity. You want to be very careful about that. What I'm talking about, perhaps a better word for, in many cases, would be notoriety. What do you reckon, Connor?
Yes, because that allows you to be contentious and polarizing.
So when I say celebrity, I'm talking maybe celebrity a little bit like, say, and I'm a bit on unsure ground here because I'm not a big one for popular culture, but maybe Gok Wan, the clothing guy, the personal shopper chap, or even, showing my age here, Mr. Motivator and Lizzie the Green Goddess. They were celebrities, yes, but they were also celebrities for doing something. They had a certain innate skill, a little bit like Gok Wan does. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want him fucking dressing me because he comes out with some very strange combinations. But you cannot deny the fact that he's a celebrity personal shopper, whatever it is, style guru, and he's not just famous for being famous. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. So if you want to be a celebrity in your niche, what you really want to be known for is being maybe I put it, notoriety, because you want contentious opinions about your industry and how most people behave in it. Because let's face it, most people promoting this industry are shit. But also, you want to be the guy or the girl that when the newspapers want an opinion on something in your niche, you're the person they think of. I was talking to the PR lady I'm working with right now, and yesterday she's a single mother, works from home, and she's got a relationship now when, I think it's the BBC actually, when the BBC want commentary from a single mother who works at home, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be COVID, it could be tax breaks, it could be anything, they call her, the journalist calls her, because she's an expert. Well, that is kind of bordering on celebrity, and also, there's authority, we spoke about yesterday. Authority and celebrity, there's very much of an overlap. But when you get to that position, you are certainly moving towards celebrity. You are the celebrity person in the niche. No matter what it is, there will be something. And of course, it does help if you are confident on the camera or on radio, if you're going to go down that route, and articulate and the rest of it. And it does help if you're a little bit edgy too. I hate to say it, but it does. Now, someone was asking me, do you have to be a badass DJ? And I said, well, you don't, but it helps. And the reason is, there's three things. If you want to become a celebrity, you've got to have hiccups.
Have to have hiccups.
Got to have hiccups. The first thing is you've got to be visible. So you've got to be in the media. You can't be a quiet celebrity. You just can't. Now, I know there are some very rich people out there. There's one guy in particular whose name I can't even remember how good he is at this. He's very much a philanthropist. He's paid for things like entire hospitals and lifeboats. And he requires and asks for no publicity. And all he does, I think he named the lifeboat after his beloved wife and stuff. So he very much flies under the radar. He's not a celebrity. I'm not saying he doesn't do great stuff, because he does. But he does it in a very ego-neutral way. It's not about being someone. Look at me, everyone. Look at me giving this homeless person £10, and keep doing it so someone takes a photograph of it. Okay, it's not like that. He just does it. He gets on with it. He's doing something of note. And to be fair, that's what I want to do. But if we want to be popular in the media, we also have to be seen to be someone, which is a little bit icky, but there you go. So you've got to be visible. You've got to be in the newspaper. You've got to be on the radio. You've got to be on the TV. You have to be, because you can't be a celebrity if nobody knows you are. So you've got to be visible. That's the first thing. All right. Now, the second thing is you've got to well, you're not got to be, but I strongly suggest if you want to be a celebrity, you be contentious and polarizing. Because if you're just nicely nice and you say the things that everyone else says, that they don't want that. When the newspapers and the media are looking for expert opinion, what the unspoken thing is, they're looking for they're looking for an expert, contentious and polarizing opinion. Because that's what news is. The new word is one of the most powerful words in copywriting. And there are some good evolutionary reasons for this. We've evolved to spot changes in our environment, because change means homeostasis is threatened. Change is potentially dangerous. If things don't change, we've got nothing to worry about. And even Claude Shannon, the information theorist, he proved mathematically if there is no change, there's no information conveyed. So, we've even given a word to it. We call it that news, things that are new. Well, by extension, just talking about the same things, mouthing the same popular opinion, towing the party line, kowtowing to the vox populi, however you like to put it. If that's your expert opinion, then you will not be a celebrity, because they won't ring you anymore, because they're not interested in that. They want things that are going to get people arguing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on their comments page. I mean, the Daily Mail is a great example. I don't read the newspapers. I've just subscribed to The Week on recommendation of someone. But I don't look at the news websites. I don't read the newspapers. I don't bother. I'm not interested. But what I do sometimes, when people say, have you seen this? Is I read the Daily Mail comments threads, because they are fucking vastly entertaining. I've said it before, where you could be apex intelligence in the universe, and then you read the Daily Mail threads and you think, oh my fucking God, these people, not only can they breathe and walk at the same time, but we'll allow them to fucking vote and have children. That's they want, the media want the kinds of opinions and the kinds of stories which are going to provoke that kind of reaction, because they don't give a shit about whether it's good traffic or bad traffic. It's online. The Daily Mail, these other firms, they're running adverts on their page. They want advert clicks. They just get a mass of traffic. Well, you don't get a mass of traffic by just talking about boring things. So if you're going to be in the newspapers, you've got to have opinions which, you don't have to be shocking. I probably would be, because that's just me. But you need to have an opinion that's different from the mainstream. And it doesn't have to be contentious in the sense that you've got to be edgy, but it's got to be something people haven't thought of before, another way of looking at it. So the easy thing to do, if you set yourself up as an expert in your niche, it's electrician, painter, flooring guy, whatever it is in the trades, whatever, anything comes along which is in any way relevant to your business, and it could even be like cold weather, all you got to do is look at what the popular opinion is and then think of a way to give the opposite one. That's as simple as that. So that's you want to be contentious and polarizing. Polarization is the most poorly understood, most avoided, and yet woefully underused tactic we've got in our marketing arsenal. Simply because the more you piss people off and push people away, for every person you do that, you draw one to you. It's just human nature. It's just human nature, It's actually the basis of Stockholm syndrome. You read the research on that. If you've seen the film have you ever seen the film Natural Born Killers?
I can't say I have.
Where Robert Downey Jr. basically takes the sides of the people who are holding him hostage with a shotgun under his chin. It's only a small part of the film, but that's what's happening. It's Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, because Stockholm syndrome is, I think, just very broadly from what I remember of it, when people are in the situation where they're held hostage and things, they obviously want to survive. And the way to do that is to befriend or become friendly with your captors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do that enough, and it doesn't take much, but you do that enough, you generally start associating with these. What's the word? Is it associate? You identify with them. Yeah. You identify with them. That's just a form of polarization. You confirm your own judgment and choice. And because you've done something, you then become committed to it. So you often find that converts to these things become the most rabid converts, the most rabid adherents to it. And we see it in extremism and everything else. It's all the same psychological models, but contentious and polarizing. Polarization is extremely powerful. We know this because what do you want to do if you want to start a war, or if you want to fucking control the population? You find a common enemy. But what's that if it's not polarization? Other than them, in group and out group. Yeah. And the third thing is, if you want to become a celebrity, you've got to be relentless and consistent. You know, I can't remember his name. He's not even a particularly intelligent bloke. He did very, very well. In fact, thinking about it, it was a complete fucking tosser, from what I recall. But what he did was he had this idea. I think he wanted to become a sports prognosticator. That was his dream job. And he was living in his mother-in-law's basement, I believe, with his wife. And he was going nowhere.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. It was real fucking, you don't get much louder than that. It's real fucking rock bottom.
Mm.
But what he did not give up. And I'm not suggesting you should never give up either. This is not the point of the story. You know? The wisdom is knowing when to stop, when to quit. But he just carried on, and he was relentless. He just sent out, and this was going back at least 15, 18 years. So yeah, we did have email, of course, but we didn't have social media in the same as we have it now. And he was sending facts after facts after facts after facts after facts after facts, press release, until he got noticed. And that's the thing about media. I don't pretend to be an expert. I'm becoming one, and give me another few weeks, and I will be, certainly compared to your average Joe in the street. But what I do know about media is it's kind of speculative, in that you might send 100 press releases. Bearing in mind there is a particular way to write a press release. You might send 100 press releases and you get nothing. Not a fucking peep. But the one you get might go national. And you can never tell ahead of time when that's going. A bit like posts on social media. In that respect, is no different. You just have to keep hammering it away at it. What most people do with media and indeed social media is they put a couple of posts up on LinkedIn. It doesn't bring them any money, or in their case, their vanity metrics don't increase, so they give up. You've got to be relentless and consistent. And when I say by relentless, I mean you don't stop doing it. That's also consistency. When I'm talking about consistency here is, I mean, you really want to be having the same message. Yeah. What I strongly recommend you don't do is 1 minute to say black is white, and in the next we'll argue that white is black. Because if you're doing that, you'll just look ridiculous. You're then pandering to vox populi. Pick your contentious opinion, which is not mainstream, and stick to it. I've done it over the last 18 years, and people compliment me on this. People say to me, the one thing about you, John, is your message today is the same as it was 20 years ago. Yeah, now that's not being obstinate. It's me. There's a reason behind it. We focus on strategies and principles, not tactics. Tactics change. TikTok comes along. TikTok is a tactic. LinkedIn changes its algorithms. LinkedIn becomes more one thing, where your tactics change. But the principle of follow-up does not. Same as email. If they started taxing email, maybe we wouldn't use it as much. That's okay. That's just a tactical thing. Whereas the strategy of relentless follow-up would stay the same. So be consistent in your message. And this shouldn't be difficult, by the way, because if you're doing your work properly, like we teach you in the Business Accelerator, hint, 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 go to ottpodcast.co.uk and you can get the Business Accelerator. Okay. One of the things you do is you set your principles. What do I actually believe in and stand for? And what does my business stand for? What will I tolerate and not tolerate? Well, that's your fucking core message. And if you stick to that, regardless of what people say, whatever the popular opinion is, you will do well. You might not be popular with a lot of people. You'll be very unpopular with a lot of people. But that's okay, because that's polarizing. I read a thing the other day from the Daily Stoic. It was from an extract from Marcus Aurelius. I think it was that one. And he was saying about how doing the right thing is often the hardest thing in the world, because it's the loneliest thing in the world. And especially if you're buying into the no ego thing. So you're doing the right thing and no one even knows it. A friend of mine was a taxi driver. He's been a mate of mine for years, 20 odd years. And a learning disabled lady dropped her purse in his car. He didn't realise that he got home. So he drove out the 20 miles or so back to her house and gave it to her. And all of his mates, all of his fellow taxi drivers, to a man, was saying, oh, you should have kept it. She wouldn't have known any better. She wouldn't have known she'd lost it. Couldn't have proven it was you. no one would ever know. And he just said, but I would have known, you know? Well, that's exactly how it should be. It's integrity, I suppose, doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So be relentless and consistent in your message. God, I went on a bit there, didn't I?
Just a little bit. It was hypnotizing. I almost fell asleep. I'm known for that.
You are. Good shit though, but it's because it's, I know what so, you know, it's almost like I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Almost.
So really, you know, the single most important piece of advice, I mean, the being visible thing is I hope it's obvious. And the relentlessness and consistency, again, is obvious. But you know, if you really want to stick out like a hard on in a nudist prayer meeting, be contentious and polarizing. What's that?
Nudist prayer meeting. That's a new one.
Prayer meeting.
That's a new one. I've never heard you say a nudist prayer meeting.
What do you want me to do? Fucking apologise?
No, just where's that?
Well, I would normally say how to stick out like a hard on in a nudist kindergarten.
Yeah, I've heard that one like 100 times from
but
you.
I fancy a change.
Yeah, you fancy the change from kids to religious people.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to keep up with the times. Paedophilia is not cool anymore. No one likes Prince Andrew.
Oh, have you seen that fucking meme of is it Harry saying the problem is he's asked to babysit or something?
I haven't. Have you seen the one where it's a picture of fucking Meghan and Harry or whatever holding a baby, and the Queen's there having a look, and she's holding the colour strip or something.
Yeah, okay,
it's
not
like,
okay.
and all the black colours are not okay. Yeah, comparing it.
Oh, the thing is, I mean, this. I don't know why people are getting so upset about it, because to me, getting upset about the royal family's obvious racism and bigotry is a bit like getting upset about the school bully. We know what they're like, you know. We don't expect anything better from them. Just they're irrelevant. Just fucking let them get on with what they're doing, fucking their own kids or whatever they do. Just let them get on with it. They're not relevant to any shape or form to the daily life of anyone in the country unless they fucking choose to allow them to. Just ignore them. We ain't gonna get rid of them anytime soon. Just let them fucking fester. Why does anybody care about any of this shit? You know, I just. So that's on the one hand, we know what they're like, but on the other hand, it's fucking hilarious. You know? I'm very pleased to see the memes coming around because it does show that a lot of people have no respect for the royal family, and I think that's how it should be, because I certainly have none for them. Now, with respect to the Queen because she's an old lady, but respecting the royal family for what they are, nah, they're nothing.
Well, respecting them just
they're a bunch of
because
fucking inbred German
just because
lucky
they're the royal family.
Club. Lucky fucking sperm club. That's what it is.
Yeah, lucky sperm club, and just being born into the right bloodline doesn't immediately.
Sperm club is. I mean,
yeah, I know, but it doesn't immediately grant you respect.
But they seem to behave as if it should. You know, I mean, I live in Ireland. Ireland is a republic. And I think the UK should become a republic too. You know, but that's not going to happen in my lifetime. So it's not going to work, and it won't really affect me. I mean, I live 500 miles away in a different country.
Yeah,
it's fucking how that's it.
So,
actual grown men and women getting emotional about all this. I suppose we're getting emotional in the fact that we're laughing. That's an emotion.
Yeah, you could argue that. But back to the program. So how do you stick out? So how do you stick out?
Sticking out like a nudist. Sticking out like
I'm thinking of the clips. Let me say the fucking sentence. I'm thinking of the clips. So John, let's pretend that didn't happen. So, all right, yeah, Holly, when you watch this, clip from here. So this is for LinkedIn. How do you stick out like a hard-on in the nudist prayer meeting, as John has very poetically written down?
Be contentious and polarizing. Yeah. No one pays attention to stuff that's all the same or is the mainstream view. It's been a long time since I've had the misfortune of seeing one, but you get these Saturday night chat programs they used to have on the local TV channels.
They still have them.
Do they? And there's always, or Jeremy Kyle, is it, where you get someone across, I've been fucking my mother-in-law's badger or something.
They had to cancel that.
Do they? Whatever it is. The point is, people want to hear that kind of shit. They want. This is why they watch soap operas. Normal life is boring, and no one's going to watch a TV program or listen to your opinion in the news or in the media if you just say, yeah, I think cheese sandwiches are great. They want to hear that you think cheese sandwiches are fucking devil's semen and you pray to the god of fucking anti-cheese. That's what they want to hear. They're not interested in nice fluffy things. This is incidentally why free speech is so important. Freedom of speech is not about protecting the right to say nice fluffy things like we all like cheese sandwiches and salad cream. Freedom of speech is to allow to say I think fucking salad cream is devil's jizz, which is probably blasphemy in the UK, but not over here because we don't have blasphemy over here anymore because this is a developed country, not a backward fucking monarchy. So, be contentious and polarizing. So, I mean, and if you want to be contentious and polarizing without straying into devil's jizz and paedophilia, what you can do is, for instance, say, yeah, we don't work with poor people. We work with people who are prepared to pay a premium. And there's a guy at the hotel in Dublin, and they had a rock concert there. And he made a big deal about putting these prices up. Oh, he got fucking hammered. He didn't give a shit. Paul Stenson, his name. He's a nice bloke. I've stayed at the hotel once. It's actually very disappointing, which itself is disappointing on two levels. The hotel is disappointing, and the fact it's disappointing is disappointing. But the point is, he wouldn't apologise. So, of course, I'm going to put the fucking rates up because there aren't many hotel rooms in supply and demand. Don't like it, you don't fucking stay somewhere else. Well, that's exactly right. You want the hotel, and you fucking pay the price. You don't want the hotel, don't pay the price. Point being, he was very contentious. Most people would have said, yeah, we're all in the same boat. Let's drop the hotel room price or just keep it normal. He said, no, fuck off. That's all it takes. So, be very bold about saying you don't work cheap. You have to apply to work with people. You take a deposit or you get payment up front and the people don't want to do it, then fine. Whatever it takes to be different in that. Right. I mean, loads of firms, right? They'll say in their marketing, "Oh, we are different estate agent, different lawyer, different accountant, different this." They're fucking not at all. I remember working for doing some copywriting for a firm, so we want it to be different. Everything I did, we don't want it like that. What you mean is you want different results by doing the same fucking shit that everyone else does. Doesn't fucking happen like that. It's very simply, if you're listening to this, and if you're not, it's pretty bit stupid, isn't it, saying that? Saying if you're listening, because if you're not listening to it, you never even hear me say it. Never even hear me say that.
Yeah,
so
you're losing your mind.
I know. You're listening to this. That's a fairly good statement to make. You're listening to this, right? I'll tell you right now. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm fucking exhausted, mate. So I'm
if you want different results,
sake, he remembers.
You are not going to get different results by doing the same things you've been doing up to this point, or doing the same things everyone else is doing. You're just not.
Nope.
So make a decision. Decide if you want different results, do different things. If you don't, then don't. It's simple as that. Your fucking choice, your life. I don't give a shit. I'm different to it.
It's the definition of insanity, isn't it? And I've noticed a trend of people saying the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And whilst it's absolutely true, and when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, especially because it apparently come from Big Albert himself. But now I can't stand the sort of people that just say it and say it over again like it makes them some form of intellectual. It's like, you're not intellectual. You read a quote and now you just repurpose that quote. And it's like how you say, they have a hammer and now everything's a nail, and they just slap that quote onto everything now.
Yeah, I think what's particularly annoying is people who wrongly attribute clients, fucking hell, wrongly attribute quotes to Einstein when he never said any such fucking thing.
Oh God, I love those.
And you point it out to them and say, well, actually, Einstein never said that, but they still continue to use it. Well, doing it by mistake is a forgivable error. You were wrong. You've been apprised of your error. Change. Doing it a second time, you're a liar. And if you're making money from it, from your lies, you're a cheat. That's it. You know, no other way to put it.
No other way to put it. But those fucking memes where they take a random saying and then quote like Barack Obama or I don't know, someone, and people lose their mind and print it on t-shirt. It makes me fucking laugh. I wanted to bring this up earlier, but you was in flow state. You was just talking and you was talking and you was talking. But did you know they cancelled Jeremy Kyle because they did a lie detector test, and the result came back obviously not what the geezer wanted that was receiving the test, and I believe he killed himself. So they just cancelled the whole show because everyone went, hang on a minute, we've just realised they're preying on really vulnerable people. And then they did some digging. It's like, and hang on, they've been using Facebook ads to target people who are in difficult times in their life. And then they just went, hang on a minute, we're laughing at really unfortunate people and allowing this to happen.
I laughed at that. I'm going to hell, aren't I? They are. I mean, I don't know why I'm laughing at that. I'm certainly not outraged by it. I guess my opinion of humanity is so fucking low. It doesn't surprise me. And in some ways, this is going to sound wrong to a lot of people I know, but that's because they can't be objective. Looking at it objectively, I admire their technical expertise in doing this, their technical approach to it. What a smart thing to do. If that's your game, that's a smart way to do it. It's a bit like admiring the work of someone who's hidden a load of bodies in the woods and not got caught, you know? So it's an evil thing to do, but you've got to admire their skill.
Well, it's like Hitler. Like, Jesus Christ, that man's an inspiration.
Well, I've got my own theories about Hitler, and that is he picked the wrong people. He should have lined up stupid people. And if he'd have been alive today, maybe Instagram influencers and LinkedIn gurus, people like that. I have no problem putting them in fucking concentration camps and shooting them and stuff, because they're just fucking lives. You know, fucking internet marketers, multi-level marketers, network marketers, vacuum cleaner salesmen, people who say, I'm going to show you how I know how the mind works, that kind of bollocks, where they quite clearly don't
know how the algorithm works.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So those people, right, yeah, third door on the left, gonna have a shower, that kind of thing.
I went to Auschwitz. It was quite harrowing.
Yeah, it's fucking unreal, isn't it?
It was, yeah. It
almost unbelievable.
It really was. Seeing it sort of firsthand. I'm not going to say it moved me or anything like that, because it didn't. But it was just like, wow, this really happened. Because of course you just learn about it and read about it, but actually seeing it, and it's like, well, yeah, that's actually pretty recent, and just the realization, like, wow. And then also thinking, Jesus Christ, pretty impressive. He pulled this all together, and everyone was just like, yeah, yes, Adolf, we'll do this, Adolf.
Yeah, I mean, what beggars belief, don't I? Yes, that's like a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, it's still within living memory, isn't it? There are still people alive who went through it. I mean, another 30 years, maybe there won't be, but certainly now it's within living memory. And I mean, we all say we wouldn't do that, but maybe we would. I don't know.
We would. I don't know. I don't know. The majority of people.
It depends what they say. Not everyone is going to be of the mind. I mean, just look at the way people behave on LinkedIn. I know it's not quite the same as rounding people up and shooting them, but just look at the feeding frenzy you get on places like LinkedIn and Facebook as soon as someone who breaks the mold. Well, is there such a big difference? Because don't forget, the same psychological pressures are present in social media as they are in real life, being ostracized by your community. Never mind the physical threat. Right? So I don't think many people would do this. Some would. I like to think I would. But really, look at how people behave today, and how they do anything is how they do everything. So if they cannot, for instance, if they cannot stand to be seen to be in disagreement now over trivial things on Facebook and LinkedIn, they ain't going to do it in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And my point is, and I've had this row with my friends, all my friends obviously say, oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't have done it. And I just, if you was around when all of that was going on, I have no fucking doubt you would have been one of Hitler's little bum boys. I just have no doubt. It fucking happened then. The majority of young men were pulled in, whether they wanted to or not, and they partook in the fucking awful crimes that happened. I'd like to think, I would have been one of the rebellious ones, but I'm also not an idiot, and I recognise there's a very good chance I would have been a Nazi if I was a German little boy back then.
Yeah, interesting thoughts, isn't it?
If you look at the data, and maybe it'd be different now with social media and whatnot, but if we are saying I am being teleported back in time, I don't want to be a Nazi, but if I was born back then, there's the odds are I would have been a Nazi, and the odds are the majority of people my age born at that time would have been a Nazi. And it really annoys me when people just deny it, because it's like, no, you can't just deny it.
Indoctrinating children goes on today. I mean, look at religious adults who will do things like starve themselves and their children, not starve, they'll allow themselves and their children to die for want of medicine or blood transfusion. Well, they're adults, but they weren't indoctrinated as adults, they were indoctrinated as children.
Yeah.
I think it was the Jesuits who said, if you give me the boy, I'll give you the man. Well, most of our behaviors are kind of pretty much set in stone by the age of 7. So if you are indoctrinated up to the age of 7, maybe you grow up to be the kind of person who will blow himself up with a suicide vest and taking women and children along with him. Well, we see that happens not every day, not at the moment, but that happens a lot. It happens. Well, that's not a lot different, really.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It's extreme. Now, are we all capable of being indoctrinated at a young age? Probably. Would it be easy to indoctrinate someone of my age or your age? No, not quite so easy, especially if you are well versed in critical thinking for yourself. Probably not, but
which most people aren't.
And let's also think about this. Most people are fucking stupid. And when you tell them you've got a common enemy and it's all the Jews' fault, replace Jews with blacks, transgender, gays, immigrants, Daily Mail readers, autistic people, people with fucking bad hips, whatever. Well, it happens. We've seen genocide in our own time, probably even within your lifetime, certainly mine, Rwanda, for instance. That is just, to say it could never happen here, you're absolutely fucking wrong.
Yeah, well, not in my back garden. It's a flaw of human psychology, isn't it? The way we view ourselves in the world.
Oh, definitely.
Due to the lack of critical thinking available.
At every stage of human development, we have been convinced that what we know now is correct and what we've known in the past has been wrong, and we laugh at what they thought was true. What we don't realise is that in 100 years' time, the same thing will happen. They'll look back at us and say, how fucking stupid they were. And 100 years after that. So, we are not fundamentally any different from how we were maybe 50,000, 100,000 years ago. All that's changed in society. We are old hardware running we are old hardware running old software, trying to process new data.
Yeah.
That doesn't often end well.
Yeah. More often than not, it doesn't. My fucking Airtable's just crashed on me.
Yes,
not that there's any
well.
relevance. That's not good. Anyway, for two people that pride ourselves on trying to be big, strong, powerful, respectable men, we do sound like the very people we try and oppose, which is Karen. But there's a very good reason to be a Karen. But first and foremost, why don't you tell people how to be Karen.
I would if their table was up. No, you want to be the Karen. By the Karen, by being the Karen, what do you mean? You want to be that person that gets under everyone's skin and has the opinion that no one likes and often seems unreasonable, even though it's frequently tongue-in-cheek. It is about being consistent with your, we talked about contentiousness and polarization, but you got to stick with it. You got to be that guy. Yeah? Now, I'm not suggesting you become a racist or a bigot or anything else. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is once you've picked your contentious viewpoint, a good one being about your industry. So if you're an estate agent, don't be afraid of saying the rest of your estate agent colleagues are a bunch of shits, because they are. Hitler should have actually rounded up estate agents, I think. And estate agents and cold callers, we've already had that one.
I hate estate agents.
So yeah, so once you've picked your poison, if you like, for your industry, stick with it and keep on about it. It's every available opportunity. Be the Karen. Yeah. Pin all your fucking hopes, fears, and hatred on this one thing. Keep going on about banging the same message consistently. That's how you become. It's how you stand out. It's how you become known for being this person with you. And I don't suggest you lie, but there's nothing wrong with making a caricature of yourself for it. A little like Jeremy Clarkson, I guess, in that respect. Jeremy Clarkson, I am convinced, comes out with some of this outrageous stuff just for effect. Well, be the Clarkson if you don't want to be the Karen. Be the Clarkson. or indeed, like be the Clarkson.
Be Clarkson, not Karen.
Well, think about, there's quite a few examples of people like this who will say the really contentious things just to piss people off. There's Clarkson. There's O'Leary of Ryan. There's the guy from Weatherspoons whose name I can't remember. Yeah. Richard Branson does it, but he does it all nicey-nicey. He does it the wrong way. Right? Not the wrong way, that's not what I'm saying. He does a very good job. I'm not trying to say he doesn't have a business, obviously he does. But he does it the nicey-nicey way. Okay, most people won't be able to carry that one off because it's less interesting. You want people saying about you, oh, I fucking hate that bloke or that woman. She's so annoying. You want people ringing up the BBC switchboard complaining about you.
Yeah. That's your lifelong goal, isn't it?
I got banned from the Yellow Pages once because they wouldn't run an ad.
That's fair enough.
So what did I do?
Neither we.
What did I do? I said, this is the ad the Yellow Pages were afraid to run.
Hey, there we go.
Nothing bad
about
about
it. 1 minute hate.
I don't actually, no.
You don't?
I don't think so.
Anything else to say? Because I am on the verge of pissing my pants, and I know you're a cunt, and you purposely just keep talking and talking and talking.
No, we've been on for nearly an hour, so that would do. They'll have to fucking wait for their hates.
I'll have to wait for the hate. I like that. It's a catchphrase. Wrap it up, big boy.
All right, if you want to make more money with less hassle and fewer headaches, by attracting better clients, selling to them at higher fees, and having the whole thing fed by a pipeline, which itself is replenished and filled in the background. Hands off in an autopilot. Go to ottpodcast.co.uk and avail yourself of all the free resources there. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands, do not piss your pants, Connor, and do not sit on your fingers. See you later. Ta-ra.